Today on the Nitty Gritty, with the increasing popularity of gaming, how do we balance mainstream acceptance with community authenticity?
One more world disappears inside it. Just another hopeless addict. Well, they make some man instead. If the drums don't get you, the guitars will.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Nerdy Gritty, where we delve deep into the details of pop culture. I'm Dez.
I'm Fox, and it took me a good long while to get that pre-intro down.
He had it written
I
down
literally
in
have it
front
written
of
down,
him.
and I messed up twice still.
With it written in front of him.
I can speak.
And I'm over here trying not to laugh while he's reading it.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's move on from that. And I really want to get into something very important that's going on right now. I just want to get your take. This is kind of outside of our what we talk about a lot. But what do you think right now politics needs? What do you think something that would really help, like, the political situation in the United States?
Oh, easy. Ready? Gasoline match.
Okay.
No, okay.
I'm looking for a real answer, my friend.
Honest question.
The Nerdy Gritty today is about politics.
Politics.
I didn't tell you, but that's what we're talking about.
Yes. I think, what's the word I'm looking for here? Honesty without hidden motives.
Okay. Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Yeah, okay.
Very much so.
You're wrong. That's stupid.
Dang it!
You tried. But that's wrong. You know what it needs more of?
Video games?
No, politicians who cosplay.
Cool.
So recently in Taiwan, Lai Pinyu, a 27-year-old Democratic Progressive Party candidate, won a race in New Taipei City's 12th district over the weekend. She is a very well-known cosplayer, and in her acceptance speech was cosplaying as Asuka from, or however you say it, from Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yeah. In her acceptance speech?
You can see a picture right there.
Oh my god.
Now, she's not, like, she's cosplayed before. She's, like, very...
Right. Awesome.
She has, like, your social media and all that. That's not the only thing. That's what she does that for fun. But she also doesn't constantly... She's not just, like, I'm the cosplay candidate. Vote for me.
Right,
like, she's an actual candidate, sure. But she won with all of this out there. And I think more of the world needs cosplayer politicians. Yeah, we need more cosplay. I want the next debate
to be
part.
cosplay.
No, part of the debate is you like a swimsuit competition.
Yes,
but you
like
come out and parade yourself.
That's what beauty competitions should be.
Yeah,
not like, ooh, how hot are you? But
sure.
Like, we should turn debates into those things where they come out and they debate topics, and then they go backstage.
Yeah,
and then they come out and cosplay, and then they go backstage, and then they come out and show their skill.
Yeah, they have a talent.
Yeah,
I mean, debates aren't really debates anymore, so they're just people yelling at each other for 3 hours. But so they might as well do that. Like, it's not really any less dignified. And if somebody can create a really cool, like, Titanfall mech or something, they're more likely to. I'm going to listen to what they say a little better.
I want to know what these people could create with the funds that they have. Like, you have political backing.
They could make
funds.
the most ridiculous. Yeah, like
I don't think they'd create a Titanfall mech cosplay.
They just make a mech.
Come in a mech.
Well, Donald Trump would love to do that anyway. He'd just, like, contract the military. Price is no object.
I'm the very best at mechs.
Make
I know
me
more
a
than
mech.
anybody else.
Oh man. Well, congratulations to Lai Pinyu.
Yeah, I honestly hope that she's a great politician. That she turns out to do a great job.
I do wish that more politicians at least had more personality.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, even if it's like a, like, honest, this is who my personality. Like, Elizabeth Warren, I think, has a lot, like, she does a lot of selfies with people, and I think she generally likes that. Mm-hmm. But I would love it if we learned more about their hobbies and, like, they became more like people. And that's, to use an extreme example, I think that's a good thing that this lady,
cool. Yeah,
this lady did.
More humanized
person, where it's like, cool, they have a hobby.
I think that plays a lot into our topic today too, with just like, we're very human people, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that later.
But so So let's get into some news here. I'll just go first here, unless you got something off the top of your bean.
I don't. But I will. I'll look stuff up right now.
Let's go with. You know what? It seems like it's game delay season right now.
Oh yeah.
I was very disappointed to hear that Final Fantasy. Well, I was disappointed to hear that Final Fantasy VII was delayed till April 10th. But that's really like 5 weeks. That's not too bad. And also, Final Fantasy VII is not like I'm excited to play it, but also. It looks good. And, yeah, another month is fine. Avengers, also from Square Enix by Chris.
That was on a while, didn't it?
September 4th, and it was supposed to come out in May, I think.
Yeah.
So
like
it got
6
pushed back a
months.
few months. Yeah. That one I'm not planning on playing that. I don't. Maybe if it goes on sale for $20 or something.
I'm still waiting to see if it is a multiplayer game, especially if it's couch co-op. I might be interested.
Yeah, maybe.
We could play
we could play it together.
Yeah, but
as of from what I've seen,
it
it just looks fine. Like it looks like a slightly elevated movie tie-in. Where it's just like, oh, it's those characters you like. Okay, cool. I'm sure it's whatever. Here's the big one, though.
Cyberpunk
2077 was pushed to September 17th.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to come out.
You were real excited about that.
In April. And
yeah.
Yes, I'm so disappointed.
A couple of trailers dropped recently, and both are ones that people have been awaiting for a while.
Yep.
The Morbius trailer.
I didn't even know that was going to be a thing, really.
Morbius, the living vampire. Yeah, and also Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Yeah, that's such a good
the
title.
best title.
Yeah,
the
I love
best
it. Yeah.
title.
Both of them came out last week, right?
Both of them came out.
The newest trailer for Harley Quinn.
Both of them came out last week, and they are very different on how good they look.
Different.
Wow. Morbius does not look good, guys.
Morbius looks like, hey, there's like 4 people on the internet that like Venom. Let's make another movie for them.
Oh, jeez.
Like, it just looks so lame.
I told Fox that it looked like it should have come out in 2003, co-starring Kate Beckinsale.
Tying into the Underworld
I
trilogy.
loved Underworld. Because that was me in 2003. Yeah, absolutely.
You.
But now, like, 20 years later,
They're
dated.
They're dated.
And when you go back and you see them again, you watch that and you say, wow, that is 2003.
That is a product of its time.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't look, it looks bad.
That is a product of that other time.
Of that time. You guys are way late
It
on
looks
this.
super lame to me. Yeah, but on the other hand, we get Harley Quinn. And it looks
so
like a
much
freaking
fun.
blast.
It does.
She walks in and she's just like goofy and having fun, and
It looks like a theme park ride in a movie.
It really does. It looks like, this is purely based on trailer, but it looks like it might accomplish what Suicide Squad wanted to be.
Oh, and I was also thinking it looks like it would accomplish what Charlie's Angels wanted to be.
Oh, like this,
the most recent one.
Yeah, like a female, like
a female
quote unquote girl power kind of.
Yeah, but still. They're empowered.
Interesting,
they're strong.
Yeah, and not just using girl power for cash grab kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and it looks so much fun.
It's Oscar time. Oscar nominees
Oscar
came
Mayer
out.
wieners.
Let me open this
delicious.
up. Let me get my list here.
And they have a first name.
It's Homer. That's a Simpsons reference.
How do you spell Meyer?
Meyer.
That's right.
Is that how they pronounce it, or is it Mayer? Is that just John Mayer?
Well, a lot of people think it's Mayer, but it's Meye.
Okay. So I don't care about anything really, the nominees or for Oscars except for Best Picture.
Right.
Actors are great and whatever, but I think the whole as a whole it's more interesting just to look at. So here, Best Picture list: Ford v Ferrari, The Irishman, Martin Scorsese, Netflix, Jojo Rabbit. You didn't know about these, really? Okay, you're learning what they are right now. Okay,
yeah,
great.
This is
Jojo Rabbit.
For Best
kind of a
Picture.
surprise, not because I didn't think it was good, but because it's such a niche kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, another Netflix movie that's 2 Netflix exclusives.
That's the one that you were talking about a while back, right? With
Marriage Story, Adam Driver and ScarJo.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson.
Just about their divorce and like their relationship. Very good. 1917. Which I'm going to talk about later because I saw it last weekend. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Obvious.
Yep.
And Parasite. This is the first year where I've seen all of them before they were even nominated, which I feel pretty smug about.
I've seen none of them. All right.
So what's your pick?
I'm going with
Based on purely
the wedding story,
marriage story. Really?
No,
Okay.
I'm literally picking one out of thin air. I have no idea. I don't know.
Sure, that's not going to be it, but it is a very good movie. I think all of these are understandable. Personally, I would replace Ford v Ferrari and The Irishman with The Farewell and with The Lighthouse.
Yeah,
the horror movie about.
I was thinking about The Lighthouse. Yeah,
that one's shocking.
But you'd keep Jojo Rabbit in there?
Yes.
Right.
I really loved Jojo Rabbit.
Okay.
I think it's a good lineup. I think they have improved from last year. Last year we talked about how they kind of were going for the popular votes within the Best Picture, and it kind of got some movies elevated that probably didn't deserve it. And I think this year they still did a little bit of that with Joker, I think. Right. Joker was great, but to me that's like people love it. Mm-hmm. So this will get Joker fans to watch the Oscars or whatever. But still a good.
Well, I feel like they've been doing a lot of making statements with their nominees.
Sure.
And last year one of them was it last year that was Black Panther?
2018, yes. Yes.
Yeah, so let's be honest, nobody expected Black Panther to win.
It was nobody expected. I was surprised it was nominated.
Right. It's a great movie.
It's a fine movie,
but it's that statement of, hey, we want more movies like this.
This is what's important.
This is really good. And I think they're continuing to do that with things like Jojo Rabbit, with like Joker and the portraying mental health in a difficult way, but in an honest way.
And the good thing is that as this happens, when people like even executives see, oh, this is good for publicity and good for money, let's greenlight more projects like this. And so you get more, you get better movies in those same veins. And so maybe it's good that a few of them that maybe didn't deserve it were elevated so that executives see, oh, that's actually what people want. Okay, let's make more. And you get those gems coming out of the, that people actually get to see them now more mainstream. Mm-hmm. My pick is Parasite.
Sony, for the second time in a row, has stated they will not be at E3 again this year.
They did.
Yes. So let's be clear about this. Sony is, by almost any measurement, winning the console race.
If that's... Yes.
And they are bowing out of E3 again, which begs the question, which we asked last year, is E3 dying? Is E3 almost dead at this point?
I think it's going to change for sure.
It has to change.
It's going to have to change.
It has to change.
I think it's even more surprising, because it didn't really hurt Sony at all last year.
Not at all.
Games still sold plenty and all that. And this year, with the looming release of their new console, and still saying, nah, that's like a statement itself.
Exactly. And that's really my
we
point.
don't need you.
This is a console release year.
Right.
And Sony's being like, we don't need you guys.
Yeah, that's not really what we need.
And let's be honest, their state of play videos haven't been great.
They've been, fine.
They have not been Nintendo Direct fun.
Yeah, they're more fun. They're not as fun as Directs, yeah.
But they're still standing up and saying, we don't need you. And they're right as of now. They have not needed E3.
They've got, they clearly are like, hey, our games are amazing.
Yes.
We're going to stand on the artistry of our games.
And they do that really well.
And they do it really well because they have great first-party titles.
Yes.
And several of them are coming out this year.
Exclusives, first-party titles.
Several incredible exclusives.
Fantastic
Final
games.
Fantasy, Last of Us 2, Final Fantasy 7, Last of Us 2, and Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, yeah.
All coming out this year. It's going to be incredible. So,
yeah. And then they're going to announce these are the games that are going to be on our launch for the system, which we don't know what that is yet, but I guarantee you.
There's going to be some in there.
I want to hear God of War 2.
God of War 2, I wouldn't, that would...
I want God of War, Ride the Lightning.
We'll Ride the Lightning.
Because that's Metallica's second album. But also Thor is
okay.
At the
all
end
right, there you go. That's fair.
Minor
point.
Spoiler: Thor's at the end of.
But if we go with the Metallica route, that second album
because Kill 'Em All was the first one, and that's God of War.
Oh, whoa! The third one is when he becomes the Almighty God, and he is the master of puppets now.
Yeah, there it is. We like Metallica too.
And then after
just so
that,
you guys know. Okay, so
and eventually it's going to come to modern day, and he's going to get a gun, and he's going to load and reload that gun.
He's going to fuel a car. Okay.
Give me fuel. Give me fire, boy. Give me that which I desire. Quote Kratos.
Sony is
they're doing what
again.
they are making good decisions.
And I'm wondering where Microsoft's going to go after this. I think if there's an E3
The
2021,
not Microsoft, Xbox.
Xbox,
yeah.
If there's an E3 2021 that is as we know E3 today,
yeah.
I don't think it's going to go away, but you're right, it's going to change.
It's going to change for sure.
All right, what are you up to, Fox?
Like I said, I went and saw 2 movies this weekend. First one is I saw 1917.
Yep.
World War One. Basically, 2 soldiers are given a mission to go find this battalion or whatever that is about to go into a battle that is an ambush essentially, and it's a one continuous take movie, or at least shown to be that way.
Right.
And it was really fun, really good, really, really good, actually. The other movie I saw was Underwater, Kristen Stewart movie. It's I didn't really know about it, and then I was like, oh, I could see it at that time. I'll go see it. And it was basically it's a spoilers. I'm gonna give you spoilers. It doesn't really matter, but it's a creature feature movie where it's like this. It's a mining site in the Mariana Trench. It's like sci-fi wise. Like, I don't know, whatever. And
unobtainium.
Essentially, it doesn't matter. That's not the point. It's, they dug too deep.
And too greedily?
Yes.
Okay.
Essentially, like the dwarves. And instead of awaking a Balrog, they awaken Cthulhu.
The actual Cthulhu?
It's never mentioned as Cthulhu, but it's a massive 1,000-foot tall underwater creature with a giant tentacle beard.
All right.
Not really worth seeing unless you're bored and got however much money it takes to buy a ticket wherever you are.
Well, on the note of unobtainium, I watched Avatar again.
Why?
Yeah, for the first time in a long time. Because my wife wanted to watch it.
All right.
Yeah, that was really
Got to prep for all the sequels that are coming out.
Yeah, no kidding. But here's what I will say about Avatar. It was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. Why is it the phenomena that it still is?
It was baffling.
It was?
The popularity of that movie is baffling.
I don't like.
Or was.
To me, it was a good movie.
It was entirely average to me.
It was
aside from it looks nice.
It was on par with like Doctor Strange to me of my enjoyment.
Sure.
And the
quality.
I
give it that. Yeah. Where it's just like fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. You're creating a world. I thought it was incredibly unoriginal. The story has been done 100 times. It's Pocahontas. It's Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
It's been done 100 times by better movies. Pocahontas is a better example.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the animation is more interesting in Pocahontas. And I don't know. I remember just being like, why is this? That came out when I worked at a movie theater, and it was just like, why is this so huge?
And so that's kind of like what I wanted to bring up now. Like, obviously, we all know Avatar. We've heard it. We've seen it. I don't want to go into the movie specifics, but I just don't comprehend how it's become the phenomena that it has.
Yeah.
Been. My birthday was just this past week, and Fox gave me a grip of Batman graphic novels.
Stack of books.
Yeah, a stack of them, and I've read all but one half of one. I've read halfway through it, and I'm about to finish it. And here's what I got to say: these are all the Rebirth Batman stuff.
Yeah,
they are good.
Starting with Rebirth, yeah,
they're really good.
Yeah, Batman,
and I'm really enjoying them. They're really well written. They do a really good job of balancing the detective side of Batman and the mystery of things with the kind of like serious grisly side of
a little bit
being Batman. Yeah. And the how human he is at the same time. So.
I finished Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh yeah.
I'm so glad to be done with it. It was a finely crafted game. There were a lot of glitches, but nothing game breaking, and a lot of funny ones too. But the combat was well made, like as far as the system goes, the actual mechanics. There were so many illogical things. It definitely felt like the entire time they said, let's apply the Dark Souls formula, a light version of it, to the Star Wars universe, and that does not make any sense. In Dark Souls, when you go to a bonfire and then the enemies you killed come back, that's how it works. That's how the Dark Souls world works. In Star Wars, why do stormtroopers resurrect when I meditate?
I have been playing more Pokemon Sword. I've beaten the regular game.
Yeah.
And
You're into the end game
I'm
stuff?
into the end game stuff, which is a lot of.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Oh,
Swordward and Shieldbirds are the worst. I'm so excited
They are
these
the
guys.
biggest douches of all
So,
time.
2 things. Number 1, I've decided to do what I call make the climb to 99. And, and get all of my Pokemon to level 99. All right, we are way over on time.
That's fine. Let's get down to the nerdy gritty.
Hey guys, before we continue, we just want to let you know that what you just heard was actually an edited down version of the full podcast. We call it the short version. If you'd like to listen to what we call the director's cut, we'd really appreciate for you to head on over to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/dezandfox. At our second and third tiers, we offer an unedited version of our podcast, as well as all of our Patreon exclusive content. This means that videos that come out early, or when we talk about new stuff that we're doing, a lot of that shows up on our Patreon, or if we record an entire game through, we do the entire playthrough and put it on Patreon in one big chunk, and so you can binge watch that. All kinds of cool things like that happen to our Patreon all the time. But if that's not something that you can do, we totally understand. We just love when you guys support us in any way that you can. So when you like, comment, share, or rate us, that means the world to us. Thanks again, guys, and enjoy the podcast.
So recently, GDQ, or a GDQ specifically this time, Awesome Games
Done Quick,
was held. And if you guys don't know what that is, GDQs, Games Done Quicks, are...
well, yeah.
Yeah, there's Awesome,
there's
Summer,
an organization called Games Done Quick that has events.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their events are fundraisers for organizations.
Typically, Doctors Without Borders
Right.
is the big one.
And people will come in and they will speed run games.
Yeah.
And it's super fun to watch. And as they're speed running games, people will just donate money.
It's a week long, 24/7. People are live streaming their speed runs.
Right. And other people while watching can
There's
donate.
audiences, yeah.
Yeah. And there are live audiences there as well.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
If you guys have never watched it before, if you are enough of a nerd to be listening to our podcast at all,
You'd love it.
Guarantee you'll find something you'll enjoy to watch.
Because
there.
a game that you love is going to be somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
or even if you don't play video games, maybe you listen to us for our comic book and movie talk or whatever else. I promise you there's a good story or some really cool technical stuff that you can find. I promise you.
Or some that are just hilarious to watch because the announcer, like the person doing the running, is a funny person. Like there's some that I don't care about the game, but they are hilarious to listen to.
Yeah,
as they describe
amazing.
it. Worth watching. So go support them. They do 2 events, big events every year.
So recently at Awesome Games Done Quick, there was somebody who came in by the name of...
I forget what his name was.
Luz is what I know.
Luz, yeah. Luz.
Yeah, Luz.
That's how I'm going to pronounce it.
L-U-Z, yeah, Luz. Was a streamer or gamer.
He's a
some
streamer.
Sort. He's a streamer who did a game,
a
speedrunner, and I'll tell you the events that happened. He went, he did his game.
He is part of a Final Fantasy VIII relay race.
Yes, and it was a long one. Obviously, Final
9
Fantasy
hours.
VIII's a long game.
Yeah.
And after his part was done, he was immediately taken back by the person running,
somebody in charge,
and told, you are now banned from participating. You can attend GDQs, but you are now banned from being an actual.
You cannot submit a run,
in any more of the GDQs.
Right. I don't think they gave him an actual amount of time.
No,
typical is
18 months.
So that would be a solid, probably 4 whole events.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was wondering, very much questioning, and I guess for a while they were not telling him. They were saying, we'll have to let you know.
Policy. They didn't say anything specific. They just said
policy. But what finally came out is it was his Twitter. So on his Twitter, in his personal description, he is listed as, he says, I hate feminazism. He is listed as demi-non-binary.
Right.
Which isn't really a thing.
Yeah, it's not a serious thing in the way he's saying it at the very least.
And his pronouns are Luz or Luz.
His name,
Luz.
yeah. Essentially what he's doing is making fun.
And it very, very much seems, we'll get to this later, but he
Yeah.
claims no, he really is demi non-binary,
Right.
and he really does prefer those pronouns.
That yes.
But it very, very much seems like he is mocking the trans community and feminists. in
Right,
some
right,
way.
right.
So they've banned him for this, and there is, as always, a lot of controversy going on each side. On one side saying, how does this affect him as a gamer? How does this affect his speedrunner? Or it's just a joke. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And even then, I know him personally. He's friends with trans people. He's friends with people who consider themselves feminists, and he's fine to them. He's just this is just a joke. He really is not a hateful person. And then on the other side, there are people who are straight up saying, I know him from the community, and I
Right.
have told him, hey man, you probably shouldn't have that.
Yeah.
He was aware that it was a bad idea and chose to keep it up.
Sure.
And so it's going back and forth, obviously both sides, and mocking this community. Any community is not a good idea.
Right.
And so here's the question that we're asking right now.
Yeah.
Video gaming is something that's becoming more and more popular. And because of that, with its popularity, there really is a rising standard of acceptance.
Behavior. Yeah, just kind of how you conduct yourself.
Conduct yourself. But at the same time, we are a community that really prides itself in authenticity.
Yes.
Of not trying to be fancy or special like a movie star or a TV
Right.
star.
We're not trying
or
to put
whatever
on a
else.
glamour. We're not trying to put on like a facade. We are people who like playing video games.
We
and so
pride
play
ourselves
those
in
video
our
games.
authenticity.
Right.
And letting people be who they want to be.
Right.
And so the question that we want to talk about today and what we want to get into today with this kind of being our jump off points is, how do we as a community balance our rising popularity in the mainstream with allowing authenticity from our participants in our community?
Right.
So let's start with just this situation at hand, Fox. What are your thoughts in general of what happened here? How could it have been done better? What kind of things do you see coming out of it?
Well, I mean, we've talked about how like gaming organizations and development companies and all that should interact with their fan base and their community and stuff like that. I do think that they made some mistakes, as in the GDQ higher ups made some mistakes in like not telling him why. I also don't think they have a I don't have a strong I don't know if they have a strong, hey, this is what you can and cannot do to be a part of what we,
The article that you sent me, which by the way,
Yes.
a lot of what we're referring to comes from a Kotaku article called GDQ Speedrunner with Feminazism and Twitter profile, raising lots of questions. And there are quotes toward the end of this article saying that people are like, look, we get why you banned him, but you got to be more clear with your stuff, GDQ.
Right, yeah.
It's too vague right now.
I have been a viewer, an audience member of GDQ for a couple of years now. I've been watching. There were a couple of years where I watched a lot of speed runs as they happened, and every year seems like, maybe not to this level, but there's always a story of people banned from chat for maybe not like clear or the best reasons. I do
Right.
remember specifically somebody saying that they had been banned from the Twitch chat, like an account had been banned from their chat for using the word thick, like THICC.
Okay, wow.
And or just like
think that's a compliment.
certain runners have been banned or not welcome back, or whatever, some kind of punishment for using what they view as vulgar language, which it was in my opinion was just typical language. It wasn't anything like obscene. It was just language that you wouldn't hear on television.
I heard somebody on Twitter, again, this is hearsay, I saw it on Twitter, but that somebody said that something trumps something else.
Yep.
And they were muted because you can't talk politics in the
Right,
chat rooms.
right.
But
And so
that's not what they were using the word as.
to me, that's the real problem here. Is you can have rules. That's fine. You can set, even if you say no using the word Trump. That's extreme. I understand. Right. But if you clearly state that and everybody who's part of it is made known, hey, if you say this, we don't want you. You're not here. You're going to get protests. But if you ban somebody for it, then it's their fault. Like, you get that. It's your prerogative, higher ups, GDQ people, to do that. But you need to do that first.
Right.
If it feels like they need to A, have better clearer standards, and B, do a little bit more vetting of the people that have have submitted, because how GDQ works, how these speedruns work is I mean, there may be a few exceptions, but as far as I know, it's people submitting.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I want to run this, our community, we want to do this event. I want to run Doom 2016 in this year's AGDQ. And then they're accepted or rejected or whatever reasons. And so, like, it's not as though they are submitting to the will of GDQ. So GDQ should probably take some time to say, it's this person specifically, no. Like, based on what their Twitter says, and then when they are rejected, hey, here's why.
And I feel like it's super easy just to say, when you submit, you also have to submit all your social media handles.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Just as easy as that. And then the person who receives the submission just clicks the links or whatever else and takes a look at the social media stuff.
Right. And I think that gives, like, as long as your clear standards are there, it gives them an opportunity to change things.
So that is easy on it's something we've talked about as far
we've talked
as how
about
to handle
that. That's not really what we
right.
want to get into.
So let's get into this then. What about the fact that, number one, he wasn't being hateful, or he wasn't like outright
not blatantly
doing, he wasn't outright blatantly doing anything.
There was nobody specific being abused by what he was saying.
And I would call this passive.
Passive
It was passive. It's not good. It's like, come on, dude.
No, it's not the right thing to do.
Change your description, but
there are different levels, though.
But I would say it was passive. How do we, as a community, say, you know what, we appreciate people being who they are. We want to encourage cosplay of all genders, all colors, all everything. We want to encourage lead characters on our games of all genders, colors, everything. We want to encourage gamers of all genders, colors, everything. Do we not include, or how strict do we need to be with that?
I mean, this is going to be just a conversation throughout the entire community.
Right.
And really where the actual rubber hits the road is these events, in my opinion, because that's when it becomes real. When it's just in theory, like person who plays video games says, I support this, and other person says, I don't support this, or I'm mocking this because I find it ridiculous. Those are opinions, and everybody is welcome to have their opinion. Those things are going to be offensive to people, but they're not exclusionary in they're exclusionary in nature, but not in like, you cannot do something because of my opinion now. Whereas GDQ, people who are creating these rules, have that opportunity. They have that power to exclude people based on what they say. And so they get to be, they get to be as exclusionary as they want. And I don't think anybody is under a lot of this comes back to a lot of people's arguments when they are called out for things like this comes back to, it's the First Amendment right to free speech.
It's not,
I get to say what I want. That is not true.
Yeah.
The First Amendment bars you from being legally what's the word I'm looking for? Prosecuted for opinions, for at least
it protects you from the law.
It protects you from the government.
Yes.
Not from the consequences in any kind of consequence.
Right.
So when, you call women, some kind of slur and you no longer get a date, that's on you. That's not your first
to say that. You're breaking my First Amendment right.
Right. So here's the thing. Luz or other people don't have a right to be a part of GDQ. That is not something granted to them by the Constitution.
Right.
That's granted to them by GDQ. And so I think it's perfectly fine, because at the end of the day, GDQ is actually kind of a really good example. It's kind of unique in the sense that it's fun, but it also has a very good purpose behind it. GDQ this year, the AGDQ in a week raised over $3 million.
Yeah.
And so if their goal, if they want to become more popular to therefore have a better chance of raising more money, which is completely understandable and admirable, then they should be exclusionary to people who might be who are offensive to people. I completely am behind that. At the end of the day, this isn't just a development company trying to pander. Right. It's, hey, we're trying to make money for an organization that is saving lives in war zones. So if somebody's not going to be a part of it because you are making fun of who they are, then you don't get to be a part of it, because we want them instead. We want the people who are going to make everybody else feel comfortable being here.
I think it's a really good idea for every organization, every person, everything to kind of stay, like we say, we let people be themselves, let them be authentic in who they are. I think organizations can do the same thing. I think GDQ can say, hey, we're an organization that encourages not having borders and helping everybody despite who they are or where they're from.
Right.
That's why we choose Doctors Without Borders. And hey, you know what? Your Twitter bio doesn't really represent what we stand for.
Yeah.
And so we are actually just going to have you step back. I'm sorry. Not having something like that said is not okay. But when we as organizations start saying this is what we stand for, this is kind of what we believe, I think that almost allows more authenticity rather than limiting authenticity. That's allowing GDQ to say we stand for this, not we're an organization and we properly have to fit into this mold because
here's our
that's
policy.
That's what famous policies do,
right.
And that's what, you know, this movement and that movement say we have to do, whatever else. This is them maintaining their authenticity within the gaming community.
Yes.
This is what we stand for as people in a gaming community, and you don't fit within that.
Yeah. To say that we are pro people who do not mock others. We want you to be as authentic as you want to be, as long as your authenticity does not include the diminishment of others and who they choose to be.
But here's what I'll say. I think that does have to go both ways, though. I think that there are a lot of people out there that when they see something like Luz's Twitter bio will immediately say, I hate that dude, he's stupid, you know, how dare that idiot, etc., etc., etc. When, if we really want to encourage authenticity, and if we really want to say we're a community that encourages authenticity, to say, hey man, I strongly disagree with you, and I don't think that's a good opinion. I'm not going to support what you do. And maybe that's the last thing they ever hear from you or see from you. And more people catch on to that. And more people, I mean, let's go with somebody who's, maybe they're a straight up racist. Maybe they stream with a swastika on their, or a white supremacist symbol of some sort on there. Instead of telling them you hate them, instead of saying how stupid they are, why not just say, I wholeheartedly disagree with you. I think that's a terrible idea, man. Deuces.
Right. Yeah. Generally, anger and hate, well, like it's not like that guy doesn't realize people don't like this.
Yeah.
I can't say for sure. I feel like there's, you know, I think that Luz was in some element trolling. He's trying to get a rise out of people. And so if you just subvert that and say, hey, no, I'm not a fan. and like, and you're not raising, like, on the other hand, I'm okay with a community saying as a whole, hey, we're going to, like, let's organize and encourage each other to not watch Luz's run.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of how he is. Not saying let's, you know, dox the guy and
and I feel like that's maybe not literally doxing, but I feel like that's a response a lot with people like when PewDiePie, this was our very first podcast ever. When PewDiePie came out, people were hateful toward him.
Yes.
Very, very hateful. But I literally don't think that solves anything.
It's cancel culture.
Yes.
I understand the desire to weed out people who are hateful. I understand that. But cancel culture is antithetical to what people in their heart of hearts need, and that is reconciliation.
Yes.
Getting into a lot of my spiritual beliefs here, but like, to me, the story of Luz having opinions or choosing to act in a way that is mocking other people, then being told, hey, that's not what we want to see in our community, then saying, personally choosing, okay, then either, you know, maybe I'll make some changes and then be welcomed back in the community because he made a right choice of his own volition. That's a good story. And that's what we want. Cool. That's what I think the gaming community should be known for, is being welcoming in a sense of, hey, as soon as, you know, like, hey, this is our problem right now. Like, this is probably not the best way for you to act. We're not going to dox you. We're not going to like, you know, deride your name on the internet because you're a terrible, hateful human being and you're garbage. We're going to just say, hey, we're not going to support the things you do.
Yeah.
We're not going to watch your stream on GDQ. And in fact, maybe I'm going to skip GDQ because they've seen this.
Absolutely.
And have chosen not to. And that's just not part of my, you know, part of my worldview. And so, like, a story of forgiveness and redemption is always better. both in a like it's nice to see and also just for the soul than a story of we cut that guy out of our whole community because he said a bad thing.
I think that other than not being clear in their standards, I think as a reaction, GDQ did a lot of the right thing. They told him, we cannot invite you back as a presenter, as a speedrunner.
Right, or we won't accept your submissions.
Yeah, your submissions. But you are welcome to attend any GDQ you want to.
Yeah.
You're perfectly welcome to come on back. And it's a temporary ban.
It's likely a temporary ban.
Right. And, at some point, we'll talk again. We'll see what you got,
and if we get to 18 months or whatever number of months and we see that you've made some better choices, hey, we'd love to have you back because your runs are really great.
And I think, again, as an organization, as any organization, if there was just some sort of like statement of who you are or what your goal is, like if Sony was to say something as a huge organization to say, our goal is to bring the most compelling, artistic and enjoyable software and hardware media to you in whatever way, blah, blah, blah. And they go on and all of this. Then they have this guideline to be able to look at games and say, no thanks. Yes, please.
Yeah.
And things like that.
You've pitched us a game that does not align with what our vision as a company. And so therefore we're not going to fund it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we as a gaming community already have a leg up on other communities. I mean, like movies, like there's was it Scorsese that was like the cinema is not
that Marvel movies are
cinema
just a theme
or whatever.
park ride. They're not cinema.
Yeah, and there's already
He's
many
factually incorrect.
so many exclusionary things because of elitism and other forms of art.
Right.
There's so many forms of art where there is elitism, and gaming, I mean, there are some minor forms, but for the most part, you made this really weird indie offshoot game that is it even a game? Oh, you made Kind Words. Is it a game?
Yeah.
I don't know. But hey, you're nominated for an award because it's awesome.
Because it's really great. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know what? There's no gatekeeping in this community. I mean, there is, but
there should not be, and we have a better. Yeah, there's gatekeeping in every community.
Right.
But
there should not be gatekeeping, and we state that very openly. Right.
Yes.
There is not gatekeeping. We do not want gatekeeping in this community. So you did something weird, and you made Sayonara Wild Hearts so unique, way out there.
Really cool.
Awesome. I'm going
to endorse that. That's a really good game.
Yeah.
Here's an event that I think has done some good stuff in this realm, where they've kind of mashed up the mainstream acceptance. Here we kind of look like what other people expect that aren't out of the community, but also we're still. I think the Game Awards do this kind of well.
Mm-hmm.
The Game Awards, are if you were just to like put it on mute and just look at it, you would think that's an award show.
That's an award show.
It's an award show. It's exactly it's people like there's little.
Except for then you ask, why are Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez out
you're like,
here?
Wait, what? Yeah, no, like nominees, open an envelope, here's the award, people clap, people are wearing tuxedos. It looks professional, it's well done. I mean, it's different because it's entirely streamed online, which I think is a good example of what I'm about to talk about. But there's a lot of good stuff. So, for example, in there, like, hey, here's our nominees for best, content creator. They might put, like, Tyler Blevins, but they definitely say Ninja.
Yeah.
And it's like they are more than okay with just saying, hey, that's your online, persona. That's what we're awarding you for. We're not awarding Tyler Blevins for his,
Tyler Blevins' work.
Right. We love Ninja. We love, like, to an extent, it's almost like, hey, this character who is very authentic and probably pretty similar to Tyler Blevins in real life. But, like, that's who we're awarding this to. Or things like, who was the content creator who won and wears the wolf suit.
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
I don't remember his name.
Talking about.
Dang it. Yeah, I don't really keep up with all this stuff. But he was just on, like, he wore it on stage and took off the helmet part and, like, gave his speech, and I really loved that. For me, it was like, this is kind of weird. Like, it's not but like, I love that they didn't say you have to wear a tuxedo because we're trying to look like a professional thing. No, that's who people love, and that's who people want to see. And it doesn't hurt anybody. It's not exclusionary. And so why not? In fact, if you were to say you cannot wear the suit that you choose to wear in your streams, that's exclusion. Like,
absolutely.
then you don't appreciate what I do, and I shouldn't be getting this award. You know? And so things like that I really love about the Game Awards. And they do a lot of that with GDQ. Like everybody, most people just announce themselves by their their persona. Couch people will just like, yep, and I'm so and so, and like you don't know what their actual name is because they don't really want people to know, or that's not who people know them as. I really love that element of a lot of gaming events
and letting people be who they are.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's a really good thing. And as far as encouraging people to be comfortable in themselves.
Yeah.
And the gaming community does a really good job of that. And I think that if we're going to build on that, if we're going to continue being that, we cannot give in to this desire of being as mainstream as possible or as pandering as possible.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean that on both sides. Just let people be who they want to be, but also be as forgiving and accepting and kind as possible on both sides as well.
It's this kind of thing, being willing to accept people for who they are and not make demands of them to put on a certain public face in award shows or GDQ to an extent where it doesn't hurt others or isn't exclusionary to others is what's going to perpetuate these things.
Right.
The Oscars is dying because people don't care about this big fancy thing anymore.
Yep.
People love movies still, though. Like the Oscars, you can't say the Oscars are less popular because movies are less popular.
Right.
Disney put out 7 movies this year that made $1 billion. So like to say like it's just like the Oscars are, they might stream them online. I don't think so.
Not that
I'd be
know
surprised. And television is a dying medium also, if not already pretty much dead, because you can see whatever's on TV online anyway.
Yeah.
And so like the ability for the game industry to kind of mutate and adapt to what's going on, what's popular with things like streaming and where that 10 years ago was unheard of, for it to mutate is what's going to help. And to be able to adapt to people who, if you had guy who wears wolf suit come out at some event 15 years ago, it'd be weird.
It would be,
because people would be like, what's going on right now? Yeah.
Here?
But now it's like when people see him online and support him there, and so that's who they want to see being awarded, things like that.
They don't want to see him walk up in a tuxedo.
Yeah, they're not gonna. Maybe they don't know who he is.
Who is this guy? Are you accepting on behalf of him?
Yeah. So not only is it good for the community, it's good for the future of the community to continue to exist in a way that we want to.
Yes, absolutely. So if I were to just kind of bottom line it as far as this actual kicking off event with GDQ and Luz went, I would just say that be more clear, GDQ, with what you do. But other than that, I think a lot of the right things were done. Luz tried to backtrack and tried to say, yes, I really do identify as demi non-binary, and I really do prefer Luz as my don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Nobody buys it.
Nobody believes you. Yeah. Nobody's buying it. Just say, I thought I was funny. Clearly I'm not. I'm sorry.
Yeah. People will accept that.
Yeah, they really, really will. And then go in and change it. Yeah. And then go back to GDQ 18 months from now or whatever else.
Or don't and accept what happens.
Yeah.
Like you do not have the right to go to GDQ.
Yep, absolutely.
That is a privilege for everybody there.
So just accept, that probably wasn't a good idea. And then redemption. You already said it. Let there be a redemptive process, and openly accept people for who they are and how they want to be and whatnot. Yeah.
With every community, this is what I talk about at church, but with every community, the moment we start to expect perfection and try to find the community that has perfection and nothing else, then we will never find what we're looking for.
That's right.
If you say that, well, everybody here has to be perfect or I can't be a part of it, then you will find nobody and nothing.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you to Granger for the use of their song.
You remembered.
I did remember. For the use of their song, All My Friends Have Wi-Fi and Some of My Neighbors Do Too, off of the album Dear Sam. It is a sweet album. Go check out it right in my face.
Yep.
And we're going to court soon. But go check it out. It's really, really good stuff. Let us know what you guys thought of this situation with GDQ and Luz. Let us know what you guys think of balancing authenticity and, I guess, purity of gaming with the rising popularity of gaming and how we accept situations like this.
Also, since they chose not to use it and it was clearly the better choice, we're taking it, and the theme for this year is 20 honey, get down to business.
Yes, absolutely. The fact that the
McElroys, you
did
chose
not
the wrong
take that,
slogan.
You were wrong.
Your slogan is okay,
Get
but
down to business.
Travis, you were robbed.
You were
my friend.
robbed, Travis. Anyway, Zen gave him the life. Bye.
Bye.
My voice sings